let's get right into it, man. This was a legendary performance all the way around from Arizona State. And I get it. You'll come back at me and say, well, this is why you're not taken seriously as a conference. You're treating this as a legendary performance. It was a loss. No, my friend. Everybody else treats the Big 12 as a secondary conference. And now you have forced respect to be paid to you by the performance from Arizona State today for a multitude of reasons. And that is clearly happening across the college football world. If you just look at the reactions of everybody around the sport today, making a lot of people look silly. It was an undeniable performance that forced everybody to be back on their heels and like, oh, maybe we were a little off with this. Maybe we need to chill with what we're saying about the Big 12. And that matters. So, hey, no moral victories, yada, yada. The Big 12 was in need of some of that. Yes, if you're the Big 12 or the ACC in today's day and age, college football, you do need some of that. If you're G5, you're Boise, you need some of that. And Boise didn't have the Arizona State performance, but they were competitive. And if that touchdown doesn't get called back, they're right there in that game with Penn State. So I thought both schools showed well. And you've got to fight for all the respect that you can get. This is still a big win, especially considering the way that the game started. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not just excruciating to come that close and have the 4th and 13 and just need one stop and not be able to pick it up. Yes, totally excruciating. It is on one hand. But based on where this league has been from a national respect standpoint, this goes a long way. And a part of that is if you're going to say, hey, again, loss, moral victory, loser, whatever, you do not get many opportunities here because the point I'm going to make later is the Big 12 probably should have been a 2-bid league. BYU probably should have been in over SMU based on what we saw and the resume and the head-to-head and all that. Okay? They should have. You're not going to get the benefit of the doubt, so you may only get one opportunity per year. And if the barometer is just going to be, hey, because everybody else thinks you suck already and you only get one crack a year, it's got to be perfect and you've got to go win the thing to have anything positive happen from it. That's just not a fair, accurate reality. The reality is you still made close to the most of your opportunity here with what Arizona State was able to do. Down 14-3 in the blink of an eye. Texas ran 2 offensive plays. They were up 14-3. Looked like the wheels were going to totally fall off for Arizona State early in the game. And at that point, everybody's, the tweets are flowing in. Another one of these games. I'm sure Lane Kiffin was close to firing off another shot at the committee. I know Arizona State got in automatically, but you get the point. Like that whole crowd was just ready to pack it all in already. Then Arizona State really fights back. They show a lot of fight, and you're thinking, okay, hey, 17-8 heading into the fourth quarter. This has been respectable. At least we are getting a game that people can't totally turn off. Well, then it's 24-8, and you're like, all right, well, this may wind up being like 31-8, and it's not going to really feel all that close. And then Arizona State digs in and does it again. It's 24-8 in the fourth quarter. Cam Skattebo is like vomiting on the sidelines. They're having to get him fluids. It just looks like, hey, he ran out of gas. In fact, one of those guys looking silly, Brandon Walker, SEC-based college football host, had tweeted like, man, you can't be a great player and run out of gas in a playoff game. And then from that point on, Cam Skattebo had one of the most epic performances of the season. Obviously, throwing for a touchdown pass, hauling in a 62-yard unbelievable catch and run that helped set up a touchdown as well. That defense, man, Arizona State's defense. Texas has had inconsistencies offensively this year. Admittedly, yes. But that defense, when it was falling apart, the special teams were letting them down and the offense was letting them down, that defense stepped the hell up throughout the entire game and continued to make life tough for the Texas running game and put a little bit of pressure on Quinn Ewers and kept Arizona State in the game. And they did it, remember, in the first half without Shamari Simmons, who's their best defensive player and just such a versatile player that is so valuable to that defense. That is an unbelievable job by everybody involved there, coaching and the players that were actually out there. And then, of course, as I already alluded to, the other part of this that just makes it legendary is the individual performance from Cam Skattebo, who's going to go down as one of the best Arizona State Sun Devils ever. One of the best seasons for a Big 12 running back that we have ever seen, and just one of the best performances on a national stage that you're going to ever see from a guy that was pretty shut down for about 3/4 of the game, at least like 2/3 of the game. And it got to the point, I'm saying here, haters admit the Big 12 deserves more respect in the title, right? It got to the point where Peter Burns, who is as big of an SEC wonk as you will find out there, he actually had this to say. Now, Clark Williams, my guy from the Big 12, we'll get to his piece in this in just a moment. But Peter Burns, SEC sycophant, says, seriously, this might be the greatest performance on a college football field I've ever seen. You, Cam Skattebo, are a damn legend. You're doing something right if you're getting that guy to admit it. Now, you're doing it against an SEC team, so maybe that's the angle here, right? Always thinking about, with the NFL, it's the shield. I guess you could call it the shield, the logo, whatever, the 3 letters. Thinking about that, it's being done against an SEC defense, so it has to be one of the greatest, most legendary performances we've ever seen. I don't know. That took me back where I was like, okay, this is it. We've got some of these folks on board now with what Arizona State did today. I do have to laugh here. It's a point of emphasis. Clark Williams, head comms guy for the Big 12, with a great callback here. Peter Burns, in golf terms, the SEC plays a U.S. Open type schedule, and ACC Big 12 teams play a vacation resort golf type schedule. So not bad for a vacation golfer, huh? Look at that, Clark. That is my guy, man. That is good tweeting. I love that the Big 12 is out here putting stuff like that out there. Run those numbers up on that, everybody. Go like that tweet. Show Clark some love for that one. But man, I mean, Cam Skattebo, as I said, is literally looks like he has nothing left in his body. He's gone through the whole range of emotions. They talked on the sideline about how frustrated he was early in the game. He was really bottled up by a Texas defensive front. I mean, Texas is a very good defense, and that front is tough to deal with. It is tough sledding. And Skattebo just keeps going. And the imagery of that is such a part of the legend of the performance. And God, if they would have won that game, I mean, it's already going to go down as one of the all-time performances. I mean, hell, he was the offensive MVP of the game while losing, which is that rarely happens. But had they won the game, that really would have gone down in college football lore, because it's like you rarely get that type of a performance with these shots of man, here's this guy just literally dying on the sideline. Looks like he cannot pick himself back up, but yet he trudges back out there. And then when his team needs it, down by 16 in the fourth quarter, and it looks like, all right, cute little fight here, not much left. He throws a 42-yard touchdown pass on 4th and 2. What just a ballsy call. Now, Arizona State had plenty of cojones the entire game, a la the fake punt at the end of the first half from their own 20-yard line. And a lot of times it worked. Sometimes it didn't. But that one, throwing it up there, not the greatest pass in the world, but it worked. Cam Skattebo throws a 42-yard touchdown pass. And then, I mean, to me, again, as much novelty as there is with the touchdown pass, the more impressive one is the move that he makes to get free down the sideline to catch that 62-yard pass was insane for, again, a guy that is gassed, appears to have nothing left in the tank, and he's going to shake someone on the outside to beat him down the sideline, make the catch, and then just continue to drag somebody. I mean, it was just such a perfect image of him, too, where he does that, shows you probably more speed than you anticipate him having, and then he's just bulldozing his way down the sideline, and it takes you ripping his helmet off with a face mask penalty to actually get the dude down. I mean, that was such a Cam Skattebo-esque play. Perfect for his lore this year. Guy finishes with 143 yards rushing, 99 yards receiving, 42 yards passing. So you're looking at, it's about you're getting close to 300 total yards and 3 touchdowns. Offensive MVP in a losing effort. Crazy, man. That's an unbelievable performance from Cam Skattebo. I can't say enough about that guy and how incredible it has been to watch him down the stretch run of this season. Picked up on it fairly early. He had a monster game early on. Was that like the Mississippi State game in the non-con? I feel like it was, where he kind of came onto my radar. But, a dude that was playing at Sacramento State, there was a great piece on him on College Game Day. Yes, I did actually watch some College Game Day this morning. Great piece on him on Game Day, where he just, they showed a play from high school where he literally went Tommy Frazier like ×2. The Tommy Frazier run against Florida? It was like that, but even more, dragging dudes into the end zone, and he only gets the Sac State offer, comes to Arizona State. You cannot come away from that game not having an immense amount of respect for Cam Skattebo and putting the team on his back.